Hey guys, 681shadow, one of your PMC analysts, and I know it wasn't really announced, but I'm actually going to be taking over Pick'em Crew along with my Pick'em Crew partner, which I will introduce in a minute here. But um, I was supposed to do interviews, but some things came up. But I am able to do Pick'em Crew for this season, which is going to be a pretty cool thing. And it's not really just Pick'em Crew in PMC. We decided to give it a pretty cool name called Choose Wisely. And now to introduce my partner, I am here with Volume.
Hello, I do the pick and crew for the CPC off season, and been in CPC, helped create CPC. So yeah, that's all about me. Anyway,
Yeah, he has experience, so it's it's not going to be awful as we may think it would be. But anyways,
oh god, look at our in-depth analysis.
in-depth analysis. But anyways, we can start up on the week 1 matches, and this seems like a pretty interesting week. There are a bunch of new coaches this season. Like, as if you guys have been following the PMC, I have been in the PMC as an analyst since season 2, and I did the weekly recap, so I know decently about some of these coaches, and some of them I know from other leagues, and then a decent amount of them are coaches that I've never seen before. So it's actually going to be very interesting to see how this is going to turn out. So,
Mhm. Yeah, and
so
I have no idea who anyone is,
yeah,
so I
yeah, you have no idea who anyone is. So
know this is great. I know the Verd. That's about it. So
yeah,
all right,
so
so
so I'll take the first match.
all
The
right.
Phoenix Incineroars, coached by I believe Isolate, versus the Oregon Ducklets, coached by Johnny GB. And for this matchup, I not only picked, but also I locked Oregon because judging by because both of these players were in the previous season of the PMC, and in that season, just watching their performance in their matches, I didn't really see too much of Johnny because he joined like right around when the analyst stuff was kind of dying because like people weren't active and stuff. And also, shameless plug, shout out to Weekly Recap last season being the last analyst show, but that's beside the point. But I haven't seen too much of Johnny, but I have battled Johnny before, and he's a very solid player. So I think they're both very solid players, but I think Johnny just has an edge in this one. I feel like he's the most certain to win this matchup. So do you have anything else to add on that?
Uh, yeah, not really. I also think he has a slightly more solid team here. He has a Jirachi and Lando T, and those are pretty solid into what Volcania, Magnezone, and then he has Crobat for the Mienshao. Just a little bit of stuff there, but I'm pretty sure there's probably more stuff, more in depth. We're not going to go into that. That takes too long. Anyway, so
You can
yeah.
take the next match if you want to go into that.
So next match, Joe and I both picked the Green Bay Pikachu's in the versus the over the Seattle Smurgles. I'm not quite sure who the coaches are, but
Yeah, I don't know either. I haven't seen either of them, so this is
so
actually pretty
they're just
exciting.
Joey. But let's see. Uh, we picked Green Bay. I mean, right? It's Green Bay. I'm not making tactical errors here, but yeah, it's an interesting matchup though. I do think Seattle has a really powerful team with Excadrill, Karen Black, and Victini. So that's strong. But hopefully at the defensive end, we think Green Bay can do that with Clefable, Mew. That's really all they have defensively, and the Muck. So maybe not the smartest pick, but they
Yeah,
do have some offensive threats. And
but I mean the Smeargles have that powerful Hippopotas for that sand.
oh boy, oh my god. Okay, all right.
Yeah,
Anyway,
I feel like that's gonna be an exciting match for me at least to watch. So
uh,
next match is once again another two coaches I've seen before. The Colorado Mamoswines, coached by Heavy Metal Pokemon, versus the Orlando City Superiors, coached by D-Pad Gamer. And Heavy Metal is a newcomer to the PMC, but I have seen him in his performance in another Wi-Fi league called the IBL. So I know he's a pretty solid player, and D-Pad Gamer was very solid in season 2 of the PMC, and he had the most ridiculous core last season, in my opinion. But seeing this matchup, I felt like since I have seen both of these coaches do pretty well in draft format, and I've seen both of their skills, I felt like Orlando was the better pick. But we haven't really looked into team matchups too much.
well,
Most of my picks are based off skill for right now, but as we go on in the weeks, they'll probably go more towards team matchup and how they've been performing. So, do you have anything else to add on to that?
Mine are based slightly off team matchup, though. I had to. The things happened, but so I think Orlando here they have Lele, and Lele is strong. Though Colorado has Finney to counter the psychic terrain, but so he's definitely gonna have to bring that because Lele is a threat. Though he does have also by Shrimp, and I think Orlando has just a better team overall. So
Yeah. And for
anyway,
some reason I'm missing that team. Where are these teams? Hold on.
oh my
I'm
god.
being blind. Oh, okay, there it is. There it is. I was trying to find the Orlando team on the sheet. I'm like, wait, where is it? All right, yeah, definitely with the strong Tapu Lele,
Got Sizemore, but
Scizor, yeah, definitely.
the other team is formidable too, so could swing either way. So, as the analysis have gone, I believe an even 4-4 here. So, but anyway, moving on to our next matchup, the Grimsby Town Grimers versus the Nevada Noivern. Once again, Troy and I go for Grimsby Town Grimers. Now, I locked them, but let's see. Looking at the matchup here, I'm not quite sure of the coaches, so it's just in general for the matchups. I'm not gonna bring up the coaches, but the Grisby Town has Weavile, Dragonite, Entei, Slowbro for their first 1 rounds into the Kartana, Raikou, Bulu, and I really don't think those mons are that strong in terms of for the Northerns. I think Grizzly Town should be a pretty solid win for them, but I'm not quite sure the coaches are. I just don't think the Northerns have a strong team. So yeah,
Yeah, I definitely agree that the Northern's team could definitely be stronger. They do have they do have some very nice offense in like Kartana and Raikou, some nice offense and speed, but at the same time they have good defense in like Toxapex and Mandibuzz. But also the Grimsby team is also really powerful in Weavile, Dragonite, Entei, defense and Slowbro and Amoonguss. He has that Regenerator core going for him.
though they're both kind of slacking on the ground types. I do believe the Sand Slash for the Grisby Town Grammars. I don't believe Nevada North has one, but not that it matters because, well, unless the Raichu comes. So, but I doubt it. Doesn't seem like. I mean, perhaps, but we'll see.
Yeah,
Uh,
definitely. And just to add in to me doing this based off the coaches, I have also seen the Grimsby Town Grimers, which is coached by Blue Rogue. He's a pretty solid battler from what I've seen. I haven't seen as much from him, but I've seen he's pretty solid.
all right.
So I can go into the next match now. Another PMC season 2 rematch, and I remember I remember this match decently well from the recap. It is the Hamden High Dragons, coached by your commissioner J Specs, versus the Sydney Crocodiles, coached by Sharpino. Now, I've seen both of these players play from PMC season 2, and they're both they're both very solid draft players. And seeing this matchup, it was pretty hard to pick between them because of the feats that I've seen both of them play into, and I didn't really have as much time to look at the teams and once again like that. But I did end up picking the Hamden High Dragons, and because I just felt like after going over everything, they seemed like the stronger coach, but Sharpino could very well prove me wrong. And when I was thinking about my lock, this was definitely a match I could not lock on. So, do you have anything else to add?
About team matchup, Hamden High Dragons have Greninja, and I'm pretty sure that's like Protein or Battlebond. I'm not quite sure though, because it's a tier 1 thing according to the sheet here.
Yeah.
So, and they have very strong offensive, Infinite, Starmie, Mammoth Shaman. Very strong offense with a low tier defense, but the defense that they do have can be really solid. And while the Sydney Crocodiles have a rather stally team in Skarmy, Tapu Koko, and well, not Tapu Koko is offensive, but not Skarmy and Crest, which is a painful core. But I think that they can Hamden should be able to wall break because Greninja is strong and Infernape is strong. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely. That's like with Greninja being Battle Bond or Protean. I'm assuming Battle Bond, but you never know. I heard they voted on a bunch of stuff like I believe Blaziken. Yeah, Blaziken is Speed Boost after a vote between the coaches.
Yeah, I might have made tactical errors in my picks because of that, but that's okay.
Yeah, but
So, anyway, so
we can go
yeah.
on to the next one.
Yeah, so Montreal Monfernos versus the New York Cosmos. I do believe New York Cosmos. I don't remember what their name is. I'm really bad at the whole name thing, but I do believe they're one of the commissioners for PMC
Yeah.
or one of the people.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I decided not to go with them because I think they have strong Pokemon in Latios and Magearna. I really underestimate Magearna, so I'm not really. I think it's not as strong as people say it is, but I could be terribly wrong here. Um, but I like the Montreal with Lando I, Manaphy, and Heatran. I like that, so it's my top lines. And I think they can stop New York here. But I'm not quite sure of the coach material. So
Yeah, I'm not really sure of Montreal's coach, but I know while the New York Cosmox, who were originally I'm forgetting his team name, but he was in last season, and he had a pretty lackluster record last season. But watching the matches, there were definitely a decent amount of hacksy ones. So I feel like this season he's going to be able to prove himself more, and not only with that background, but also I haven't seen too much of the new Pokemon, but I've heard like a lot that Magearna is it was a very good Mon, and he has like the Nido King, which is also a very versatile good Mon, the Latios, Alolan Marowak, which has proven to be pretty good in like draft and things like
I
that. So
I think the Don fan, but like yeah, but I'm just saying Montreal is Don fan, just the and they have Don fan, so that does work for the against the Nidoking and the Marowak. So, but I'm not quite sure. I'm like new Pokemon, same with Joey. I don't know what I'm doing.
yeah.
So we're just gonna kind of roll with this. Anyway, moving on to the next matchup.
All right. So the next matchup we have the Mastodon Gastrodons, coached by Mastodon, versus the Red Spark Vicavolts, coached by Dolphin Squared. And for this matchup, once again, knowing a coach in this matchup, I haven't seen too much of Dolphin playing in like leagues, but I have battled him, and he's a very solid battler. I had won against him in the battle in the PMCD league. I don't know if you guys who are watching are from that far back, but definitely he's a very solid battler, and I had to take that into account as well as the team matchup in this one, and and we both feel like, well, we both as in myself and Volume here, that Mastodon will actually take the win here.
So we blocks against him, but but going for team matchup, I mean Mastodon is Genesect, and Genesect is strong. That's basically the moral of the story here.
Yeah, Genesect and Latios.
Yeah, Genesect, Latias, they also have Mimikyu, which can be proved to be a threat. But defensively, maybe not the strongest team. Let's see. And then what is it? For the Red Spot, Voltobard, Vikavolt, they have Garchomp, Celesteela, and Thunderous T. Now that Celesteela may prove to be a problem for the Mastodons, but Gastrodons. The names. But yeah, it could go. I think it could probably swing either way, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, definitely. So we can go on to the last match of the Pick'em Crew.
Yeah. So that would be the Richmond Rayquazas versus the Tampa Bay Frogadiers. Now I do know the TB Tampa Bay is coached by the Verd. I had picked against him because I didn't realize I'm bad and didn't know Speed Boost Blaziken. So that's a thing. And Speed Boost Scolipede, that's also a thing. So strong, very strong team. Whereas Richmond Rayquazas, not quite sure how they are. Keldeo, they have Keldeo, Superior, Togekiss. They have like a fairly even team. Like they don't have like any massive threats, but their team doesn't have any like particular downsides. I think in terms of like really weak Pokemon. But we'll see how this goes. Blaze, like honestly, I think they might just get run over. But I picked Richmond here for upsets. That's what I'm banking on. That usually doesn't go well for me. So
Yeah, as we learned from CPC, upsets only work in my favor. But
Joey's just a guy. Joey's just a guy to pick him, which means he'll go 7-1 every week this week. For a PMC team.
yeah, but not only because of the strong team that that the Verd has for this season of the PMC, but also for those of you who may not know, Verd was the season 2 PMC champion, and he played extraordinarily well in the previous season. So I have high hopes for him, not only in this match but also for this season. So that's really all I have to say. Is there anything else you want to add before we close off the video?
Well, not particularly. So if you can tell, a lot of people are walking with their team, which is probably really smart. So I want the upset, but to be perfectly honest, doubt it's gonna happen. So it's kind of stupid to pick against that. But we'll see what happens. So they also happen to have zapped us. So like, I think they just. I don't. Maybe God. If Richmond here, God Battler, doubt it. But we'll see what happens. So we'll see what happens. Young upstart here, I guess. I'm just gonna go with that because it sounds better versus the seasoned veteran champion. Let's see if he can take down the throne here or take the throne. Yeah, that's about it.
All right, so that is all for PMC Season 3 Week 1 Pagan Crew, aka Choose Wisely. Hope you guys are liking the series. We're gonna try our best to keep this going for the rest of the season, and for it to not just stop randomly like last season. Um, but anyways, make sure to go down the description below and subscribe to all of the coaches and analysts who are working their hardest to make sure that this league goes as smoothly as possible. We all put in a ton of work to make sure everything goes down, and there will definitely be some great battles. So make sure to definitely, more than anything, check out the coaches' channels because the battles will be uploaded on their channels. I'm not sure which day. It's probably going to be like a weekend day, but it will be on their channel whenever that day is. So I've been 681shadow.
This is volume. So and we're
remember to rate, comment, subscribe, and share. And we are signing out, as he was about to say.
Yeah, law.